Gelato. Gelato contains less fat and less air than American ice cream. American ice cream is legally required to contain at least 10% butterfat and is churned at high speed, incorporating air that increases volume by up to 100%. Gelato uses more milk than cream, churns slower, and serves at a warmer temperature that keeps it denser and more intensely flavored. Florence claims to have invented it in the 16th century. Sicilians dispute this. The argument has been running for 500 years without resolution. Every gelato shop outside Italy is technically making an approximation. The best ones are very good approximations. Spaghetti ice cream. Spaghetti ice cream was invented in 1969 by Dario Fontanella at his family's ice cream parlor in Mannheim, Germany. Vanilla ice cream is pressed through a potato ricer or spaghetti press, producing strands that land in a bowl exactly like a plate of pasta. Strawberry sauce goes on top as the tomato sauce. Grated white chocolate or coconut falls over everything as the parmesan. The dish is a visual joke that works perfectly every single time. It's spread through German ice cream parlors for decades before food media discovered it globally in the 2010s. A 1969 German prank became one of the most photographed desserts in the world. Dippin Dots. Dippin Dots were invented in 1988 by microbiologist Kurt Jones, who flash froze ice cream in liquid nitrogen at -320 degrees Fahrenheit, creating tiny beaded spheres that could not be produced by any conventional freezing method. Jones called them the ice cream of the future. The company filed for bankruptcy in 2011. A competitor bought them and kept operating. They are still called the ice cream of the future. The problem with Dippin Dots has always been the same. Liquid nitrogen storage requirements make home distribution impossible. They exist only where the equipment is. That limitation kept them a theme park and stadium exclusive for 35 years. The future arrived and stayed at the fairground. Rolled ice cream. Rolled ice cream originated in Thailand, where street vendors have been pouring liquid ice cream base onto a frozen metal plate, chopping in mix-ins and rolling the result into cylinders since at least the 2000s. The technique is called stir-fried ice cream in Thai. American food bloggers discovered it around 2015, and the format spread to U.S. cities within 2 years. The appeal is entirely visual. The rolling process filmed from above produces a satisfying video that is impossible to scroll past without stopping. Every rolled ice cream shop that opened in America between 2016 and 2019 had a phone holder mounted above the rolling surface before it had a second employee. The technique is Thai. The business model is TikTok. Mochi Ice Cream. Mochi ice cream was invented in Los Angeles in the 1990s by Francis Hashimoto of Mikawaya Bakery, who wrapped balls of ice cream in traditional Japanese mochi rice cake dough. The combination solved a portability problem. Ice cream in a cone melts from the bottom. Ice cream in mochi is completely sealed and stable for significantly longer. Frances Hashimoto spent years developing the dough thickness that allowed wrapping without cracking. She died in 2012 without knowing that her invention would become one of the fastest-growing frozen dessert categories in American supermarkets. A Los Angeles bakery owner's technical problem became a billion-dollar freezer aisle product. Ice Bingsu Kakigori. Bingsu is Korean shaved ice and Kakigori is Japanese shaved ice. They are not the same dish despite looking identical to anyone who has not grown up eating either. Korean Bingsu uses milk ice shaved so fine it resembles fresh snow, topped with sweet red bean, condensed milk, and rice cake balls. Japanese Kakigori uses water ice shaved thinner than any machine outside Japan produces, topped with fruit syrup. Both traditions trace back to the aristocratic ice houses of East Asia, where storing winter ice for summer consumption was a luxury reserved for royalty. A royal preservation technique became the most ordered summer street food across Asia. Frozen yogurt. Frozen yogurt was introduced to America in the 1970s as a lower-fat alternative to ice cream. Early versions tasted aggressively of yogurt in a way that limited their appeal. TCBY, This Can't Be Yogurt, opened in 1981 and made frozen yogurt mainstream by making it taste less like yogurt. The second wave arrived in the mid-2000s with self-serve shops offering rotating flavors and toppings by weight. Pinkberry opened in Los Angeles in 2005 and generated lines that stretched around the block. The tart yogurt style it pioneered divided customers between those who found it refreshing and those who wanted dessert to taste like dessert. Both camps still exist. Dondurma. Dondurma is Turkish ice cream made from goat's milk, sugar, mastic resin, and salep, a flour ground from wild orchid roots.
The combination produces an ice cream that does not melt at room temperature and stretches like taffy when pulled. Turkish street vendors use long metal paddles to stretch and fold dondurma continuously, building the elasticity that makes it unique. The same vendors famously torment customers by pulling the ice cream away on the paddle repeatedly before finally handing it over. The orchid root that makes dondurma possible is now so over-harvested in Turkey that authentic salep is becoming difficult to source. The most entertaining ice cream in the world is slowly running out of its key ingredient.